Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahushai, Brakati Yahweh, Brakati Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bahashim, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there, you Akim to Zadakim that do this thing in the utmost truth and sincerity. I'm the priest Shaman. This week's topic is going to be entitled PSA / Travis Hunter's Fiance, a story as old as time. PSA, public service announcement / Travis Hunter's wife or fiance, a tale as old as time. First, I want to start off with the PSA, this public service announcement, and that is this: we here at Great Millstone do not condone any form of terrorism. Okay, there was recently somebody on the internet posing as somebody named GMS Somalia, a terrorist for Yahushua, a terrorist for something. We don't condone any terrorist activities. My apostles have never told me anything about acts of terrorism. We have never spoken about anything in terms of terrorism in secret. I'm going to go on record and make that clear. None of us condone acts of violence. In fact, we say, look, this kingdom, though we do prophesy that the Bible says America will come to a downfall, we have time and time again, and according to the scriptures, have never said that's something we're going to take into our own hands. This is Romans 13:1. Let every soul be subject mean under rule, under the higher powers, Esau, of so-called white man, his rulership, the U.S. government, and different Edomite rulerships, right? For there is no power but of the Most High. The Most High ordained this man to be in power. We understand that. It says, the powers that be or ordained of the Most High prophesied that he will be in this position, okay? Whosoever therefore, verse 2, whosoever therefore resists the power, or resist means to fight back, fight against, like an act of terrorism, right? The ordinance of the Most High, who the Most High appointed to rule, okay, says who resisted the ordinance of the Most High and they resist shall receive to themselves damnation. So we can't come up against this man with his own blessing. So we don't condone doing something like that. We don't doing any acts of terrorism, anything like that. All right, that's not what we're put here to do. We're just here to teach. We're not zealots. We're not criminals for Yahushua. We're not radicals for Yahushua, and we're definitely not terrorists for Yahushua. So I just want to put that public service announcement out there. Okay. Now, what is a story or tale as old as time concerning Travis Hunter and his fiance? Now, first of all, who is Travis Hunter? Well, if you don't know him, he's a college football athlete, once in a generational type player, very similar to LeBron James or Kobe Bryant. He won the Heisman Trophy. He's a special talent. He's been a special talent since high school, since very young. He's just a highly talented and capable football player, well respected for his skills. Now, Travis is engaged to a woman that one is older than him, and the optics is she doesn't show much genuine attraction or interest for him, but rather is seeking his resources. And now Travis Hunter has been getting warnings from different, what they call OGs, all right, older gentlemen, telling you to beware of a woman like this. She has too many red flags. However, Travis Hunter is resisting. He's saying, I've been with my woman 5 years. Y'all don't know my woman. I'm going to go into some of the red flags. I'm going to speak from my personal experience and wisdom concerning that situation with women and stuff like that, and from the scriptures, of course. But he's bucking up. Now, this is a story that's old as time, right? And this is the book of 1 Ezra, chapter 4 and 26. I'll read 25 first. It says, wherefore a man loveth his wife better than father or mother. Yea, many there be that have run out of their wits for women, and become servants for their sakes. And that's what's happening with Travis Hunter. This woman is pretty much embarrassing him. She's telling stories that, Travis doesn't smoke or drink or do any drugs, whatever. I remember when he used to drive me to a party, let me go inside and party for hours and just wait outside and never try to change me. All these sorts of things are a red flag, because again, from experience, this: the more submissive a man becomes to a woman, the less attractive he becomes. Where in the opposite, where the more submissive a woman becomes to the man, the more attractive she becomes. And you'll find that a lot of the wisdom is this: men and women, the attraction is not asymmetrical, right? We kind of like opposites, and that's just the way the Most High made things. Now, as much videos has been put out concerning the situation, all right, I'm gonna put out this video, but I'm gonna put edification in it because we're gonna deal with the scriptures. Because Travis Hunter's situation, like we talked about, women running out their wits, men running out their wits for women, is a very common tale. It sometimes, a lot of times, often it ends very detrimentally. The book of Proverbs 31:3 says, "Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings," right? And when you look up different versions of that word strength, you'll see stuff like resources, wealth, all these sorts of things, right? And I think resources is the most accurate way to describe it. And I think the way to describe it is, give not all of your resources, whether that be your time, your money, your whatever strength, whatever your defenses, you can't put it all for a woman, because you're going to end up losing everything. And that's what this man is doing. He's willing to risk his reputation, potentially millions of dollars, okay, for this woman. And let's go through some of the red flags with this woman, right, real quickly. One, she's dictating where you guys are going to get married. And out of all the places to go, she wants to get married in Tennessee, wherein the prenuptial agreements in Tennessee are very loose. Wow, she told this dude this about the venue. So this woman is controlling this guy, and she friend zoned him. Man, there's just so many red flags with the situation. She said, you're not my type, and then she had to come back and say, well, no, when I said he wasn't my type, I don't mean physically. I mean, he had a girl, so he was a cheater. Like, so she just, she doesn't take accountability. She puts him down to elevate herself up. Let me tell you something about types, right? And here we look. Everybody is physically attracted to certain things, and with women, it's definitely more selective than men. For example, with men, we don't care if you're tall, short, fat, skinny. I mean, we do care, but I'm saying, like, women have more choices of getting a man, because men look for reasons to qualify a woman to be with them, where women look for reasons to disqualify. And she was like, well, Travis is not her type. Well, look, let's be honest. She was talking physically. It's not like this brother is like a so-called, handsome brother. She was with him for his resources. She sees his potential. Now, the thing is, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with a woman wanting a man to provide. But here's the part now. You have to do your part. These women that get with these high value men, as you call it, they know their place is to shut the fuck up and big him up. He's the center of the attention, but she doesn't realize that. She's cuckoo in the brain. She thinks she's the prize. You're not the prize, She has to follow after LeBron James's wife. You never see out there in the news and none of that. Or Trump's wife, right? Melania Trump. There's a 30-year difference. He got with a supermodel, but guess what? He's a billionaire. So that's sort of how that goes. Now, women are attracted to power, right? That's what women are attracted to. We've quantified these things, because men are very analytical with understanding women, where women kind of go based on emotions. Men have been very analytical. So what men try to quantify things. Men quantify power into 3 categories: looks, money, and status. Either you're physically attractive, so she see you as an alpha seeder, meaning I look at this man and I'm ready to have his kids. I see we'll make good babies. All right? Or she could see you as a beta provider, right? Which beta doesn't mean nothing bad, just you're the provider, right? So she could see you as a provider, which is the money part. And status, the status typically means other women want you, so they kind of gravitate to that, because they say, okay, well, other women wants him, he's pre-screened as a guy that women want. So here's the thing. Not every man check all boxes. So what women will tend to do, because they want everything, is they'll get a guy that has one or the other, and kind of deal with guys that have a combination of both. And of those 3 things I mentioned, looks is the most genuine attraction. It's the most genuine, it's because check it out. If the resources go, if she's genuinely attracted to you, she could stick around. Wherein if she was just with you for the resources, you fell on hard times, she'll break out and go after what she values, which is a man with resources. Now I'm going to read something, because with that understanding and from experience, I've seen that, man. I've seen that and experienced that woman may, because you know she gone on the internet and told, you know, she said repeat our rules, and so she's already putting rules on this dude. Here's the shit with rules. Women, you'll come across someone that say they have this rule, that rule. Don't buy that shit. You know, just because she say I don't do that, that you got to take it as she don't do that with you. Okay, that doesn't mean she haven't done it with somebody else, or she's not willing to break it for you. Okay, I'm gonna read this. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 39, verse 6. It says, and he left all that he had in Joseph's hand. This is the king of Egypt, all right, leaving all that he had in Joseph's hand, right? And he knew not aught, Salakia, and he knew not aught he had, save the bread which he did eat. And Joseph was a goodly person and well favored. And I've said this before I even looked this up. I said, yo, Joseph had to have been handsome. I'm gonna tell you why. It says 7, and it came to pass after these things that the master's wife cast her eyes upon Joseph, and she said, lie with me. Meaning she looked at him and she was ready to lose every fucking thing, even her life, just to sleep with this man. That is what you call physical burning attraction. I'm gonna tell you something with attraction. Attraction is not a choice, okay? Attraction is not a choice. If this woman was truly into you, Travis Hunter, she wouldn't have put rules for you. She wouldn't have fucking made you wait. She wouldn't have done nothing. She would have risked it all for you if the burning desire was truly that genuine, right? But it wasn't, and it's not. Now, why did I say that Joseph had to have been handsome? Because we just mentioned look, money, and status. The king that this woman was with, he must have had the money. He must have had the status. He was higher than the king. He's extremely wealthy. But you also have to put yourself back into the scriptures. There could have been a huge age gap, more than likely, you know, because back then in the ancient world, you got a very young woman. So he was probably like an older guy or not in shape or whatever. And then she sees Joseph walk in, and you know that word for goodly, when you look into a different version, you know what it says? It says Joseph was well built and handsome. Meaning she wanted that. You see what I'm saying? I'm saying women typically wanted both. But this king only had the money and the status. She looked at Joseph as, this motherfucker will give me some big, good, strong babies. And she can't help. That's what I'm saying. Attraction is not a choice. Whereas so much this woman was willing to lose it. And this is what I'm saying. This is a story as old as time. When you go to choose a woman, you want to make sure that she is pursuing you. Okay? If she's pursuing you, both of you win. Okay? Because if she's pursuing you and she got what you, then in her mind she didn't settle, she got what she wanted, all right? And you have a woman that is chasing you, that, you know what I'm saying, you have the leverage. As a man, you want to hold the leverage, because typically in a relationship, whoever cares less holds the leverage. And this woman obviously does not care about Travis Hunter as he cares about her. Okay? And this shit happens. The brothers learn hard lessons, you know what I'm saying? The thing with Travis Hunter, a young man, I think this is his second girlfriend. He's very green. He has committed all his time to football. Very similar to that lesson with that Asian physician dude. That all he invested, he was a brain surgeon making $3.1 million. And he picked a woman that was an escort. Believed her lies and all that, because he was so focused on his work that he never got the time to really deal with a bunch of women. You know, when you deal with a bunch of women, you start to pick up on these tendencies and you become more well-versed with women. Very similar to like somebody that's a wine taster, right? If we go to the liquor store and get any old wine, we could be like, yo, this wine tastes good. But to a wine taster, they could have been like, nah, you know, you have to have this and that. Well, how do they know? Because they've tried so many different wine. And as a man, you want the experience, when the opposite for a woman, you don't want her to have experience. A woman should not have experience. A man should have experience. All right, reading on, Proverbs 6:26 says, for by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread. Damn, a whorish woman, a woman that sleeps around. How is a man brought to a piece of bread? You could lose all your money tricking on a hoe, man. Especially with these divorce laws. See, marriage is a thing where you only have one shot, man. Okay? I know there's people that's been married many times or whatever, but It's one of those things, especially in Travis Hunter's situation, where this woman could completely destroy you if she divorces, man. The marriage contract is incentivized women to want to break it because they benefit from it, you know? Because when it was put up around a time where women, you know, couldn't provide for themselves, but they haven't updated the law. Even now, women can now provide for themselves. And women are vindictive. They'll destroy a man, destroy a family for their own fucking feelings. Where men are willing to make sacrifices and compromises to keep the family together, women are willing to break the family up for their personal happiness. So Travis, this bitch could bring you to a piece of bread. Look at Mike Tyson and that Givens woman. And again, this tale is old. It happened even to Solomon, man. Okay, it happened even to Solomon. As much as of the wisdom he has taught about the woman, guess what? In his older age, you know, he did some unwise things for these women, mainly worship another deity, spiritual fornication. It says, by means of a whorish woman, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress will hunt for the precious life. And even people in the world are looking at this woman like, yo, there's too many red flags. First of all, the arm sleeves. You see, the apostles and elders have taught us very early in the truth about the nature of women. Like, they were like father figures to us. Even for brothers that had fathers, there's certain things the apostles said that our pops never told us. And they warned us about this woman, and they told us to check out a guy named Tom Likas. Tom Likas is Kevin Samuels before there was a Kevin Samuels. He was going into all the nature of women and shit like that. And you'd even have women that come on the show and be like, yo, Tom, you're right. And some of the things that Tom Likas talked about is some of the things you should look for in a red flag for a woman. He says, you know, I believe he mentioned tattoos, right? Because tattoos are self-destructive, right? This bitch has an arm sleeve, mad tattoos on her legs. A woman that does drugs, okay, again, self-destructive, right? You don't want a woman with vices, bro. You don't want a woman like that. And, you know, I don't know if Tom said this, but this is something I personally look for. If I'm going to commit to a woman that's serious, I got to know what the relationship with her father is. You know, is her father in her life? You know, are her parents still married? These sorts of things is things I look for, because, you know, when I'm going to commit to a woman seriously, hey, man, I got hella filters, bro. You know, because you about to make an investment. You want to, you know, make sure your bets are as good as possible. You know, you want the odds in your favor as much as possible. It doesn't guarantee that she won't be, you know, a whore, but, you know, you're just trying to defend yourself as much as possible. And that's the thing too, when you deal with a lot of women, you'll find out that some of the very few women that you come across that do have these good long-term quality relationships, they're more or less the same. Like, they won't, you know, they'll be on point. So, you know, Travis Hunter's woman, parents divorced when she was 1, tattoos all over the goddamn place. The bitch once tweeted that she likes sex, money, and drugs, and they said that, you know, she stripped in Atlanta club, but she lied and said she only bartended. But here's the thing though, if you only bartended, that means you had to be 21. When this account happened, you were 19, because they had her Cash App out. What else, man? She had her OnlyFans and she scrubbed it. Man, so this is a bunch of red flags, but this dude refuses to hearken on to wisdom, you know? Again, because he's inexperienced, he's green, and that's the shit too. Just because an individual is in the world, like a Jake is in the world, that don't mean he's not gonna have some sort of wisdom from dealing with shit in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of shit that the scriptures warn about women, you got certain Jakes that will understand it in the world because they've dealt with women, man. And you have certain brothers that could know these scriptures, all right, but don't apply them when it comes to women because they don't have much experience with women. So experience is, you know, it's a really good fucking teacher, man, all right? And clearly this guy lacks it, you know? Proverbs 11:22 says, as a jewel of gold in a swine's snout, so is a fair woman without which is without discretion, right? A beautiful woman that lacks judgment is like a jewel in a swine's snout. It looks good, but you don't want to touch that shit, you know what I'm saying? And this chick clearly doesn't have discretion, man. One of the things too that Tom Likas mentioned is this, man. She said, woman don't take women serious, or women's are hoes that don't want to take their man's last name. And she literally said that. She was like, there's a lot of questions about the wedding. One, am I going to take his last name? No. I'm keeping my last name. I'm going to hyphenate it. You got to, hell no. Hell fucking no. You know? That's off. So, it's just red flag after red flag after red flag. And so much that the media, everybody on social media and actual mainstream media are talking about it, because Travis Hunter seems to be a trustworthy individual and people want the best for him. And they just keep telling this dude, yo, look out for this bitch. There's too many red flags, but the man refused to hearken, and it seems like the only way he's going to learn is from a life lesson. Proverbs 21:9, it is better to dwell in a corner of a housetop than with a brawling woman in a wide house, right? So it's better to just have a fucking damn studio by yourself than to be in a mansion with a brawling woman, bro. You know, so the woman you select, it should be, especially if, again, I'm talking about for long-term serious commitment, you have to vet this woman, man. Especially a man in your situation where you are the prize and you can choose. See, most men could know these things, could know like, okay, this is the type of woman I want, this, that, and the third, but don't have the option to, you know, because women are very selective, like I mentioned, you know, but you have the chance to choose. And so if you're going to choose, you might as well choose the best of the fucking litter, man. Okay, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's kind of scary, too, because, you know, when women are also financial predators. So when you run into a bag or you become famous, man, it's like, it's very hard to even discern, man, is this woman really with me for me? You know, you kind of wish, like, you know, she didn't know who you were. That way you could at least see if she liked you for you. But the thing with that man's situation is clearly that she didn't choose him for him. You know, in other words, if this dude was just walking around on the street and he ain't know her, shit, man, she wouldn't be thirsty for you. You know, she wouldn't be willing to break her rules for you. Proverbs 21:19, it is better to dwell in the wilderness than with a contentious and angry woman. I mean, the woman says she loves to argue all the time and fight all the time. You don't want to be with a woman like that, bro. That bitch is literally knocking off years off your life with stress. Proverbs 11:22, read that one. Okay. My scriptures got moved around a little bit. This one's pretty good. Proverbs 27:15. A continual dropping in a very rainy day. A continual dropping in a very rainy day and a contentious woman are alike. Meaning very annoying. You know what I'm saying? You ever just trying to sleep here? Drip, 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 drip. You can't fucking sleep. That's a nagging ass, annoying fucking woman, man. You know, and here's the shit too with marriage, right? When you get married, and speaking as a brother that is married, you have to be very fucking careful, because once marriage come into play and kids come into play, you know, that woman's gonna always be a part of your life. It's not like some bitch you just fucking, she annoy you could just cut off and move on. Once there's kids, once there's marriage, once these things come into play, you know, you can't just say, man, fuck this bitch, she's annoying, and go, because, you know, that's it. You guys are tied no matter what, as long as that kid's around, marriage things around. So in that situation, if you're gonna marry and have kids with a woman, god damn it, man, you better scream like a motherfucker. And even then, you know, it's like I said, you just gotta pray to the Most High things, you know, go smooth with that, you know. And it's crazy how things work, man. These women are just, they'll say one thing and do the next, you know. So that's just something that Travis Hunter has to do. You know, she'll say, okay, I have a type and this, that, and the third, but look, I'm pretty sure the guys that's been with her, she said it, she was like, the guys that's been with me was trying to control me and change who I am and shit, because they knew you weren't right. Those guys that you probably was with, older guys she mentioned, right? Older guys, it's like, yo, this chick they was trying to change her from being a hoe, but she got with a guy. This bitch pretty much struck the lottery, that got with a guy that is in the position to make a lot of money, but also is a simp. And I don't know what it is with these athletes that they're attracted to these OnlyFans models and these strippers, and this shit is insane, you know? It's just like I said, I personally think, you know, maybe they were just so locked into their careers and shit like that, and what they had to do, that they never really had the time to, you know, gain that experience with women, you know, like especially if they meet a chick and she got the slim waist and the fat ass. If that's your first go around and you ain't dealt with that a bunch of times, you that could really kind of sway your mind. But you know, if you're gonna commit to a woman in a long-term situation like that, you shouldn't make beauty be the number one factor. You know, because here's the thing with beauty, right? Beauty is a depreciating asset. It's not something that appreciates over time. The older the woman gets, you know, you know, that's just how it goes. You know, she becomes less attractive over time. You know, she's not gonna, her 20-year-old her is not gonna be her fucking 40-year-old her, right? Even Beyonce is an attractive woman, but she can't compete with these 20-year-olds and shit like that, or these 19-year-olds, because men typically want younger women. So, if you're gonna go based on, oh, she's a baddie, and that's what you just pick, and you haven't really took up any long-term qualities, all right? You just going off short-term shit. Guess what? Those short-term decisions are going to have long-term effects on your life. So you should be looking for the values that a woman has. Can she cook? Can she does she give you peace? All right, does she show the quality of being a mother? You know, the respect she has between her parents. All these sorts of things is what you look for in a long-term situation. But wherein it's a short-term shit, you know, you're just trying to fuck, so you don't really care about that. But look, this dude keep bucking up against all the wisdom that's given to him, despite all the signs that this woman is showing that she ain't it. And you know, there's a saying that says, a fool and his money is soon depart. So why is he being foolish? I'll read it. Proverbs 9:8. Reprove not a scorner lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man and he will love thee. Right? So when you're getting rebuked or counsel from people with experience, you have to consider it. You might not necessarily even take the advice, but you at least want to hear it out, you know, because that's also another part of it. Like, you could hear advice, but you might, you know, every man has their own experience, okay? As a brother that has a family, married, kid, wife, all that type of shit, I can say, okay, in my personal experience, it's been good. You know, I don't have any regrets. However, just because that's my situation, that doesn't mean that that's something the next man will experience. Okay, that's how come I could say, look, man, to me, having a child was a fucking blessing. But another brother's experience might be completely worse, where he could say, look, bro, in my personal experience, you know, having a child and was a blessing, but the woman completely leveraged it against me and hurt me, you know. So everybody could have different experience with shit, but you should at least hear out a man that has the experience of something you're trying to do in life. You know, you read the scriptures, but you consult with brothers. And like I said, even people in the world, you could get wisdom from, that's been through some of the shit that you're going through, man. And you listen to it, man. I always take advice from my parents. Now, when I was a kid, they would tell me shit. Especially my mom, she would tell me certain things, and we always kind of joke about this. Years later, I'd be like, damn, Mom, you were right. Now that I'm an adult, anytime she says something, my pop says something, I'm stopping, I'm harking. Even if I don't agree with it, I'm really thinking about it. I'm going to think this thing before I just make the next, I'm doing a counsel. You see what I'm saying? But, you know, unfortunately, Travis, as talented as that man on the field, I think his father wasn't around like that. You know what I mean? He still gave him thanks and shit, but he's the oldest brother. Basically, he didn't have no older male figure to tell him how to watch out for these bitches, and kind of, because the thing with men is, men will just tell you shit raw, where a woman will sugarcoat shit and it's about their feelings and how you say it. Well, a man would just tell you straight up, son, avoid this bitch, bro. You know, he didn't get that. So, you know, hey man, I gotta commend Deion Sanders, bro, because Deion Sanders, both his sons, you don't see them in the news with no rap, with no chick, kind of, you know, none of that shit. Because Deion, guess what? Deion got fucked over. So he gave them the wisdom. You see, that's a perfect fucking example. You do not see Shador Sanders, the Deion Sanders Jr. You don't see them out there. Their woman is, you don't even know they have a woman. Deion probably told them to keep that shit private. Don't tell them nothing about that. Because he knows the game. He knows how this woman could completely destroy you, how they could switch up for money, all that shit. But this is probably a lesson that the Lord gonna have this dude learn the hard way, because I don't think this guy's gonna change for shit, man. This chick could do anything at this point, and he's not gonna leave her. And that's not how that shit should be. So that, you know, that was a little personal, not personal, that was a little advice from scriptures, personal experience, you know. So hey, don't run out your wits for women. We've all done it. There's brothers that even brought the scripture out and did the same fucking thing. You know what I'm saying? Hey, man's goings of the Lord, and then you have to learn from it anyways. So I'm gonna give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shah, Ba'ashim Rachakodash, the belongs to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone True Well. Salutations to the hopeful elect out there. You Akim to Zadakim. I do this thing in the most truth and sincerity. Shalom.